Well, howdy, y'all, and welcome to another electrifying episode of the High Voltage Live Show. I'm your host, Willie Snyder from Nat King Code, coming to you live from the Mile High City in Denver, Colorado, joined by my awesome co-host, Mr. King James Stallcup, over there in Big Sky Country, Texas. Give him an old hook and horns Mile High salute from the old Mile High City. Awesome show, James. It's so awesome that we keep bringing up all these new topics, and every week we just keep learning. And I had so many compliments this week, and everyone's just loving the myth of the week. I really thanks all the participation. We're almost at 22,000 over there on the electrical code discussion for awesome electricians group. So want a big shout out to everyone over there at the electrical code discussion for awesome electricians. We just had our 20,000 episode for 20,000 members, and we're already almost 22, so that's awesome. We really appreciate bringing you guys awesome content, and it means a lot that everyone jumps in, participates, and like I say, we're not trying to say anybody's wrong or anything like that. There's a lot of times where people are bringing up their comments about the UL listings, the manufacturer instructions, and all that kind of stuff, and it's just aligning with everything that James and I have been bringing up every week, and so we really appreciate it, and keep those comments coming. It's a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
I really enjoy it.
Well, before we get started, we're going to do a podcast on Sunday evening showing the new stuff from the publications and stuff. I'm actually going to show a little example of everything. I'm finishing up right now creating the back covers for showing the new stuff that's going to come in, but they've already got it set and ready to go for publishing and everything. So we've been getting all that done, and
Nice.
We now have the two newest publications that are coming out. We got the 2023 grounding and bonding, and we also will have the lightning protection include that, and then we also have a separate book that is for lightning protection. So all of that is coming out, and I'm going to share a screen here real quick and give everybody a quickie of what everything is starting to look like. All right.
Nice.
So here will be the new publication. This is what the cover will look like. Of course, Builder's Book is the one that does our publishing and stuff for us, and we actually go in and go to the myth behind grounding and bonding. We have a lot of design, or should I say grounding tips in there. But as you'll start to see as we go through all of this, anywhere in here, you can come in and just do a quick jump to everything. It takes a lot of time to actually go through and set every bit of this up. But just say I wanted to look at electrodes permitted for grounding, all you'd have to do is just come in here, pick your subject, click, and there you are. You go right to it. Now, one of the other cool features that we have done in this also is I can be scrolling through here and say I may have something that refers me back to another type figure somewhere. But anywhere in here, you can just come over here where it says in the text, see figure so-and-so, just click at it, it'll take you to the figure. So,
Oh, nice.
we've done a lot of linking and stuff in here. It takes a while to actually set all this up, but this gives everybody an example of the detail that they're going to see in these publications right here. All right.
Nice.
Now, one of the other things, say I'm up here and I'm looking, one of the other things we've added here, here's lightning protection for buildings and structures. That'll be the last part. You can just click that and it'll take you over here. Now, as you're going down through this, I'll give you a good example of some of the stuff that we spent a lot of time putting this in there. Is there's going to be a lot of reference back to other illustrations. And even in the other one, like I could be looking at sizing the grounding electroconductors, it's going to refer you back to some earlier information that we did with the illustration and how to go about sizing that. So as you come in and you start looking at these illustrations, you can see the amount of detail that has gone into this. This is, I mean, everything from showing where it's a metal roof, a single roof, whatever's there. We talk about the different type of conductors that you set up coming down. We drew all the new buildings and everything. I mean,
Nice.
it really is quite a bit of work here. Now,
Hey,
one
I
of the
just want to real quick welcome in Electrical Wizardry, and we got two watching over there on Rumble side. So thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate it.
Now, one of the things we did here is you'll notice this is where we get into um, our surge protection devices here that are out of service, and these are the new ones that they have out there, the digital ones. And you'll see we've actually come in and we've actually drawn these out, so you know exactly what those units look like. We even take in here and show you the type of stuff that's inside those devices that you would see here. So
Nice.
they put a lot of stuff in here to talk about how you're going to look at all these different devices and stuff. And we even talk about where you're doing and you got traveling waves down through the utility lines. So we
Wow.
actually did tie in some of the stuff here that even deals with the lightning protection that's on the utility side. And that's where you get in and you start dealing with the National Electrical Safety Code, and you also look at Subpart R and Subpart B of OSHA. So
Nice.
as you're looking at this stuff like this in here, we're talking about showing how these arresters are hooked up and everything from the utility side. Well, we even take you and say, well, looky here, you're looking at this right here, and we put your grounding tip here and say, all right, you need to look at this back where we were in figure 171. So you come back here and it takes you right back over here to it. Okay.
What does subpart B cover again?
Subpart B and Subpart R, that's OSHA, and that deals with your construction side and also deals with your general industrial side for
Gotcha.
utilities. Okay.
Okay.
So this just sort of lays everything out, but you can see we even go in and we talk about the signaling cables and how they can be affected and how you go in and do all the bonding of your piping and everything. And basically, if you look at it, it's where you're taking everything back to a single point. So we show the striking termination devices up top, show the conductors coming down. I mean, there is a ton of stuff to go in here. We even drew new testing devices that you'll see out on your testing instruments that you'll see out in the field and how you go about doing the testing and like this. And we're checking the conductivity of the floor surface, and we're showing you where you'd use a typical 5-pound electrode to touch that and then touch the metal and then see what the resistivity is of it. So we go
Nice.
through, we break all this down for you to look at. It is very in depth, and I think everybody's really going to like what we've done. Now, the other thing that I've got some courses that are about to come up where I'm going to have to go do a bunch of hazardous, and looks like they're signing me for 4 classes that are a week long each one. So I'm
Okay.
in the process right now. We're updating all the illustrations to the hazardous that's going to be coming out, and we're drawing brand new like transmitters and different type of signaling devices. We're redrawing all the different types of hazardous location equipment that you would see out in the industry. We're also doing
Nice.
the purge and pressurized equipment. And when the hazardous is done, I will tell you now, you won't see another publication nowhere come close to the type of illustrations you're about to see. Matter of fact, I would say go get the source book and compare it to this new grounding book. And as you'll see when you look at the grounding, matter of fact, let me pull it right back up one more time because I want to show something real quick. When you look at this, this is the type of detail that this has. So if I was coming back here, and let's just say uh, I'm going to look for something, say for let's just say the service, for instance, and I talk about maybe say the grounded conductor brought to the service equipment. All right. Now you'll see we've actually changed this now. It's not C anymore. We changed it to D. But as you're going through all of this, you're going to start to see where we come in, and you can actually see here where we draw the green conductors, the white conductors, and black conductors. We actually put a dotted line behind it so you can actually see the white conductor there. So we break everything down, and we even take it in here and we lay it out to where you can see how to go in and do the calculations and everything for determining your different sizes. So
that thing's gonna sell really good. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, like if you look at this one, you look at the panel board. We show you all the grounding techniques and everything here. All the coloring has been done to all the different things. We even come in like this in here. If you look at this, this is where we're dealing with a separate drive system. I'm just going to show you the detail here. If you look at the figure 33 there, right there where the panel next to the panel board, we're showing you a transfer switch. This is a digital type transfer switch. This is exactly how you'll see it out in the field. So we went in and we actually drew these out. So when you're going out there, you're getting a good look. We even drew a brand new permanently installed on-site generator, and you'll see even it has the thing where the window is there that shows you all the digital readings and stuff of the generator. So when I tell people, go look at the other publications out there and then come back, look at this, you'll really start to see the difference in the detail and the amount of time that we spend. I mean, even our switch gear, that's what your switch gear looks like. So it's just not a couple of, somebody putting a little picture up there like this switch gear here. Here's a different type with a digital reading panel on it.
Yeah.
So we tell
that looks like a lot of stuff you see out in the field.
That's right.
I agree with you.
And
I'm just telling you, there were some people that Pinky promised that they were going to show some better illustrations. So I just don't want you to be surprised, So
Well, I'll tell you this. Wait till you see the hazardous. The hazardous. We are when we get that done. We actually have two publications actually that one of them just come up for sale the last cycle, but we're redoing it. But we actually have one that we do separate that we don't sell, which is the oil and gas industry publication. And we're thinking about putting it out for sale because that actually deals with the API 500 and 505. And it's publications like that we have separate while we do so much work for the oil and gas industry. And then we also have the hazardous classified location book. And we're going to bring all of those up with the new illustrations, and we actually take you in and show you how to deal with the NFPA 496, which is your purge and pressurized equipment, and how you go about determining, to purge and pressurize something. And then we also go in and do NFPA 497, where you're dealing with liquids and vapors, and then we go into 499, and that's where you deal with your different type of dust. And we actually go in and break down, looking at table, like if we're doing combustible liquids and gases, we'll go in and look at table 4.4.1, and we show you how to understand what the upper and lower flammable limits are, what the MSEGs for, what the MIC ratios for. We just go through all of that stuff. So we break it down, and then we show you how to classify a location actually based on the pressure that's in the pipe. And that pipe, if you get a leak or something, how far it could spray based on pressures and everything. So there's a lot that's involved with that publication, but we're actually drawing all the new devices and everything where you could get a leak or a seal gets a leak, anything like that. So that's what we're working on, and we drew new seal offs and everything. I mean, it's fantastic. I can't wait for everybody to see when we finish all of this. So
yeah, I'll be
that's
honest.
My thing for tonight.
I'll be honest, that is the most misunderstood code in the National Electric Code. If you get into that, a lot of guys say being safe than sorry, and they end up getting just drenched with spending extra money for no reason, just because they're trying to do stuff that's not required. And so a lot of that stuff, I'll tell you what, that's going to sell like hotcakes. And I'll tell you what, being a knowledgeable person out in the patch is a real benefit. I mean, when me and Lemonhead were out there, they'd always just call us over, hey, what's the code on this? What's the code on that? And they don't want to look it up anymore if somebody knows it. So,
well, I'll tell you,
it means a lot.
It was funny because today I sent over for them the PDFs because they're getting ready for print, but they want me to redo the back cover and stuff to prep the new stuff that's about to come out in color. Well, anyway, probably about 30 minutes went by and the phone rang. I picked it up and it's Sue. Oh, he's the owner of the company. He called me personally to tell me, dude, he goes, we sell all the different publications. He said, these are by far the best illustrations we've ever seen in any publication we sell. He said,
nice.
he said, I just wanted to personally give you a call and give you a kudos for what you did. He said, man, he goes, I can't wait to see the rest of it. He goes, if y'all are putting this much time into it, he said, these are going to change what people think in the electrical industry. And plus, we also have, like I was saying, that's when we're going to do the podcast Sunday. We're actually going to have, if you're an instructor and you send over the information and proving you're an instructor and all that, we're actually going to give you the presentation. Okay? And that's one of the things that I'm about halfway done with the grounding and bonding. And I'll be sending that over. And all those illustrations will be in full color, just like it. I was just showing them to Dad before I come on, and he was like, oh, man. He goes, instructors. He said, any instructor out there that's teaching any courses, he goes, if they don't like this, he said there's something wrong. He said, because he's been teaching, for freaking ever, for 500 years now. And he said he wished he had that kind of detail and illustrations when he was teaching. So
yeah,
that gives you an idea of what everybody can expect in the, especially by September, we should have the generator, transformer, motor, compressor ready, full in color. We should also have the journeyman full in color and the masters full in color. And then
nice.
Slowly but surely, probably about November, maybe 1st December, hopefully we'll have the hazardous ready. And then it's finishing up the design book. And once the design book's done, you got it all there except for the 70E, which we're going to be updating for the new 2024 that's coming out. We're going to update it with all brand new illustrations, with all the new equipment and everything. Then you've got almost everything you'd ever need illustration wise. So that's awesome. Where we're at.
Well, I've been showing everybody your code change book, and they're all taking pictures of it and going out there and getting their own. So I really appreciate that publication. Is really great. And I've been doing a little code questions here and there to try to see if I could trip you up on your own questions in there, but it really means a lot, everyone, all the participation. And I have a little announcement. Miss Katie Curtin is now a journey person. She just has to go another 40 days of hours, and then she's got her license. She already passed the test. So big shout out to you, Katie. Congratulations.
Happy for you, love. That's awesome.
Yeah, so she's on the job site I'm on now, and really enjoy having her there. So pretty awesome.
All right. What do you got for me on meme of the week?
Oh, it's a good one. You'll like this one.
You got. Let's roll it out.
Yeah, I think the reason that one's so funny is like there's so many people that just do stuff that's like so hack, and then you're just like, really, right in front of the code book, you're gonna do that, And so
I got the gist of that. I was like, yeah, I know what he's doing.
But it was pretty funny. I stole it from somebody. I try to get the new ones when they come out, but it's pretty funny. I actually have some different variations. I'm gonna try to ship that around a little bit and see if I can't make a little bit of my own meme out of it. But it's a lot of fun. I enjoy doing it. And thanks everyone for joining every week. And we have a really good myth this week. Let's roll the myth.
All right.
It's time for Myth of the Week.
All right, so I was talking with our local HJ inspector today about this one, and he found it pretty interesting. It's really kind of a gray area, I feel, as far as drilling this. But they do have these knockouts, and it's really hard to see in this picture, but it does actually give you in the top left-hand side of your screen, inside that box, it actually says that you can pop out those little knockouts and use them for mounting, provided that you silicone them. So I thought that was interesting. I really don't see why there would really be any difference if you drill those out, as long as you weren't drilling them out larger than that size or whatever they have in there, which I would imagine is going to be a 1/4 inch. There's a lot of different areas in these where they give you permission to drill out a weep hole for moisture in, like when you're in that wet location. And this one always brings up a lot of controversy when it comes to these style outlet boxes, just for the fact that, like, a lot of times in like residential or multifamily applications, a lot of guys bring Romex in through the back, or not necessarily Romex, but NM cable. And a lot of times that me and James brought up in some of our other myths, it could cause a code violation, because it says when this box is installed in a wet location per 314.15, that inside of that box is considered a wet location too, which that wiring method would be permitted to be installed in there. So it brings up some interesting things. There's a lot of gray area there, I think, in that wet location language. So I think some of that stuff could get cleared up in future code revisions and future code stuff. But like when you look at this, like, I don't really see any problem. Like, I've always, like, and I know James had like mixed feelings. Like, he almost was kind of like silent when I started telling him about it. He's kind of like, you can't do that. But it was just, in the past I've always done this, where I've oftentimes what I feel is okay, which probably isn't, is to take like a 1.25 inch fender washer and just use that fender washer to close your hole and mount the box at the same time, But especially, like, a lot of times we have rigid conduit going in there, so you have two rigid raceways coming in and out of those top knockouts. Like, that thing's not going anywhere. But and in a real world situation, you probably should just pop those little knockouts out and just use whatever anchors to anchor it to the wall, and then go back with some silicone like the manufacturer instructions say. But this myth this week, I don't really see any reason why you couldn't drill those out and seal it back up. But you might have different feelings than me, James.
I give it both answers, because when we were talking, I said, in order to do that, the manufacturer's instructions are going to have to state that. I said, because you also have other type boxes. They actually have a place in the back you screw into that has mounting for putting tabs out there to mount those type of boxes. And
Yeah.
I would say that type of box is not going to permit that. So that's why that's my mixed feelings, is because you got to look at the product itself, and that's why I always say that the manufacturer's instructions take into consideration the NEC when they do the design for their products. And the only other thing that I could see that you would get into as far as the code is saying is when you look at 310.15 and it's telling you not drill larger than a quarter inch.
314.15.
Yeah. What did I
You
say?
said 310.
Oh, I'm
You said
sorry.
310.
I'm just going off, popping too quick. But where you drill for drainage, and of course you'd put that at the bottom of the box. But you know, I've been out there too many times that I've seen with these boxes, there's freaking dirt, everything else gets in them and all of that. And I just always found it more interesting than anything. It's usually because they drilled holes in the back, and a lot of times they drill the hole too big, and then they put a washer on it and then try to, you know, get it in there tight. Now that's why I think the manufacturer, when you go back here and you look at this illustration here, they've got them already set. They don't give it any more than about a quarter inch, and they're going to give you permission to do it with that box. But if you got another box that doesn't have these, I'm going to say no, you can't drill a hole in it. You're breaking the manufacturer's instructions on that particular box because they didn't give you the permission to do that. So that the answer, in my opinion, is both true and false. It depends on the type of box that's there. So that, you know, and I know the code pretty well, and I don't know of any other section that's in there that addresses that other than looking at 110.3b and looking at the installation and use of equipment and going by the manufacturer's instructions. Then 110.2 is your approval of the equipment that refers to the definition of approved, which is acceptable to the authority having jurisdiction. So as an inspector, I'd be looking at the box itself, and based on that would make my determination if I could drill that box or not for mounting purposes.
So we had, I went and I drug up every single box I could. They were almost these exact same boxes. I think one was a Hubble, another one was like a
Rayco.
I can't remember. There was like 3 different kinds of boxes, and all 3 of them had those little knockouts on them. Yeah. And they it didn't say that you had to seal them in, I think, one of the brands, but they all have those little knockouts in there. Yeah,
earlier versions didn't, and because people were drilling them, and I think that's why they put them in there now, because they need a means for doing it. But I did see one other box. I was trying to think the name of it. It actually didn't have the hose. It actually had a thing where you could screw in the back and put the tabs on it and mount it. So I forget which brand it was.
So we ran into that. We were doing like some kind of like a refrigeration. It was, I can't remember. It was a pretty big plant, and it had a lot of refrigeration in it, and they didn't want those tabs on there because what happens is they want to they do like a spray down. They go in there and they do like a sanitation, and they go in there and they hose down all that stuff, and they wanted all the mounting to be internal of that device. So that's what we did. That's the whole reason I thought to do this, because there was nothing wrong with it. We went over it with the inspector. We were able to pop those holes out, and I want to say I actually drilled them just because it was easier at the time, because they had kind of like a little template and you could just drill them and they didn't get bigger than that factory knockout. And then we mounted them on the inside, and then that way they could go and they could hose down, because there was different kinds of stuff that would get stuck in those ears if you put the ears on there. And so we actually got permission from the inspector. We told him the whole reason we had to do it and everything, and he agreed with us that that's the best way. And then we just siliconed around there, and then we siliconed inside where we did the mounting screws too and stuff, so you can get moisture enters that enclosure.
That's why you got the authority having jurisdiction there. And sometimes
Yes,
they
sir.
have to override something due to a particular installation. Happens all the time.
Yeah.
All right.
And he didn't see any safety concerns. So myth busted. If everyone says you can't do that, it depends on the box. I would say.
All right. Let's roll topic, baby. I'm ready.
Let's do it.
All right. Now, the topic this week, we're going with the 2026, some of the new changes that have been already voted on. And I'd say more than likely, there might be a few little changes that may happen, but very rare that you'll see one of them just completely deleted from, anything I present. Because I've been doing this for, God, I don't know, what, 30 years. And I pretty much have seen how they vote on these, and when something stays, when something doesn't. So we go through all that. All right.
Well,
now,
I want to give you a little update. I did a little vote with like one guy at my work, and he said our podcast is better than Paul's. So we got it. That was it. I needed that one vote. So thanks for that.
all right. I didn't even need that. I already knew that.
No, I'm just kidding.
But let me show you what they've done here, and this goes back to something we were talking about as far as manufacturer's instructions are concerned. Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is 110.3b that deals with examination, identification, installation, use, and listing or product certification of equipment, and this is installation and use, and they've added a new sentence here. And what it says, the installation and use instructions shall not reduce the requirements within this code. And then they gave a committee statement. This revision makes it clear that product installation and use instructions shall not compromise safety and must also conform to the requirements of this code. And that's why I go back and I say this, is it is when the manufacturer has a testing laboratory come out and they're going to test their equipment and everything, they have to go through a product testing certification, which that product certification, and you'll remember this, it goes through and talks about all the people in 1910.7, I think it's B23, you go in there and it talks about all the people that are involved in order to do that testing certification, and therefore that testing certification not only becomes an ANSI standard to go by, but it also is an ASTM. So these are things that are set up. So when they're looking at this, they're saying that when you're looking at the use of these instructions, that they're not going to reduce the requirements within this code. Just because some code making panel comes in and decides, hey, we want to put our device on there, and you're going to start putting this device, and then you've got a testing that says no GFCI protection. Trust me, they've already considered the GFCI protection requirements, and they've provided their own type of personnel protection for that equipment. So
I agree 100%.
That this is what this is getting into, and we're going to expand on this when we do our code change publication. We're actually going to have an author's comment that everybody can go in and see the explanation of what is actually required. You know, when we first started doing our code change publication, we just did the code change publication with illustration and had a little write-up on it. We didn't even show the text when we first started. Then later on, we started showing where the text was new, what had been struck through and all of that. And then soon after that, you saw the National Electrical Code started doing their highlighting the text that was new. And then we did an author's comment. Then you saw these others that write these code change books. They started doing comments like we did. So,
Sure.
and I can prove all that because I can show you every cycle. And the next year, somebody was doing, you know, like we said author's comment, then I think it was Hope come in and said author's note. You know, he made a little different change. So
nice.
now,
Yeah. So what's all the red in there? Because
The
you have
red-
green and you.
the
Is that
red has been
deleted?
struck through. Yeah, it's no longer
Okay.
there. So they've redone this, and you have to pay real close attention to what I'm going to tell you here. Now, this is actually following along with NFPA 70E to a point. And
Right.
this, and if you look, 110.16 when it first started, it was an arc flash hazard warning. Well, now
Right.
they're not even saying put the warning. They're saying you have to have a marking on there.
Right.
Okay. So when you look at this, and this talks about where you're in other dwelling units, it says you have to have now a permanent arc flash marking shall be field or factory applied to service equipment and feeder supplied equipment. And then it says after that, the marking shall meet the requirements of 110.21B, which it had already stated, that is clearly visible to qualified persons, and the following information shall be there. Now let's talk about something before we go a little bit further. When you go look at 110.21B, that's where you're going to get into the different type of coloring schemes. Okay, so if it's danger, it's red. If I have a
Right.
warning, it's going to be an orange, and if I'm signaling something, it's going to be in a yellow. Well, here I'm coming in, I'm giving a warning, so this tag is going to have an orange marking up on the top. It'll have an orange and then white background after that. And it tells you the minimum information that they want to see on this marking here is they want to know what the nominal system voltage is, what the arc flash boundary is, the available incident energy or minimum required level of personal protective equipment. So what they're telling you, that portion there, you can put the incident energy, and then that'll tell you what your rating is. Therefore, you know what type of PPE to wear and what the cal rating is. Or they were able, based on meeting the parameters that are in the tables, 130.7 C15A and B, depending on if it's AC or DC. Then you go to table 130.15 C there. When you pick that table C15C, you pick that up. That's where you get into your hazard risk categories, where you got 1, 2, 3, or 4. So you're either going to have the incident energy or you're going to have one of those hazard risk categories. And then they want to know the date the label was applied, because when you get over to 70E, you have to look at that every 5 years anyway. Okay.
Sure.
So this is actually sort of in conformity with the 70E requirements. And if you
Sure.
look at note 2, it refers you to the new 2024 standard for electrical safety in the workplace, which is your NFPA 70E document. Okay?
Yeah, and keep in mind too that language of 110.21B, I believe, has in there that it cannot be handwritten.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that also has your dates. And I'm sorry, 110.24A. That's where you get into
gotcha.
your available fault current and everything. Okay, which
Gotcha.
we're actually gonna. I think we actually had something on that, but just keep paying attention, because these are all big changes. And when you look at this, they've done quite a bit here. I mean, look at everything that's struck through here. Now, this is where you get into the identification of your disconnecting means, and look at this. It says each disconnecting means in other than 1 and 2 family dwellings. Now look at here. Shall be legibly marked to indicate its purpose and circuit source unless located in range, so that the purpose and the source is evident. And then it tells you the marking shall meet the requirements of what? 110.21B, which is what I was just discussing there, because you have certain marking criteria there, and also the environment and for which that field label is applied. So all of this is very informative.
It does make sense though, like if you're gonna go in there and work on it, a lot of times, and we talked about this before in other different podcasts, that you'll have like alternate sources of energy, and so you need to know that, like, if you're gonna bypass something, or you're gonna try to de-energize like a circuit, you don't want that generator kicking on and backbeating or inverter or something like that. So this does kind of make sense from that standpoint, to make sure that you're aware there's alternate energy sources present.
Sure, and I think this is important because this actually puts it in compliance with making sure, if say you just have a disconnect out there, and you just need a warning label out there. You know that warning label is going to be what? Orange. If it was a certain type of disconnect where there's danger, it'll be marked in red. So they're trying to make sure that the right type of labeling is applied for your different types of disconnecting needs.
Yeah, and I've actually seen fire pump disconnects or fire pump switches that basically said no PPE there is no PPE to work on this while energized.
That's right.
And that's a red, exactly in a red.
Sure, it'd be red. And that's what I'm saying. You get into these different ones, and this is what I was talking about a while ago. You brought up. I said they made a change over here in 110.24a, which deals with your available fault current, and then they took and made some changes there in Note 1, and I'm going to explain exactly what they did here. Now, The first one in A is the field marking. Now, looky there. The available fault current there is to comply with 110.21b again. So if I looked at the portion that's on there at the service equipment, we got to have the available fault current there, where there's going to be a warning there. It's a warning label, so it's going to be an orange. They're just telling you that this is going to comply back with this. Okay? Now, if you come down and look, you'll see Note 1, they took out the 70E document there. Well, why did they take that out? Because nowhere do we really get in and discuss in the 70E document that's dealing with the available fault current. The available fault current came in and got mentioned, or they added this new section, about 3 cycles ago, I guess, about 2017. They added the available fault current here, and they said, now let's think about that. Why did that get added in the first place? A lot of people don't even know this. Well, what happened was we had created the tables in the 70E document, tables 130.7 C15 A, B, and C. Okay. Now, in order to apply those tables, you needed to know what the available fault current was, or short circuit currents, or however you want to say it. Then we said you also needed to know what the clearing time was. And if you didn't meet those parameters, you couldn't use that table. Well, what was happening is, if you were out in the field, you go to the service equipment, you didn't know what the available fault current was. And so we had to put something in the code that forced the hand of the utilities in order to be able to give you the available fault current, so you could determine what you were going to need in order to provide the proper PPE. Okay, True. That's how it happened. Now,
and there was, I know that
it's informed.
Yeah, and I know that we talked about this too with Mike Barr, where they have different standards on the utility side versus our standards, because over on our side we got arc in a box. Over there they got arc in air.
That's right. 2 total different ones. As a matter of fact, when you go in and look at 70 document, we actually go in and show you 2 different calculations there in Annex D, how to do the calculation for arc in a box and one that's an open air.
Right.
So,
True.
And that might be something good to eventually, when the 2024 we update everything, I'll go through and show everybody how all that ties in again. Okay. Nice. Now, this is another one that took place, and they're making it a little more clear, but this is the definition that used to be in Article 100, and they moved it to 110.29, which is what is considered in sight from, within sight from, or within sight. And basically all they did is they come in and they put here where you're within sight of a building or structure or other equipment. That is the key here, is they wanted to make sure that they're clarifying that when you're mounting something there, it's in sight from, it could be from a building, it could be from any type of structure, it could be from some type of other equipment. Okay?
Yeah, I noticed that one in the code change book, and I didn't really understand. Like, I didn't. Yeah, it was cool. You know what I mean? Because it was like I thought it was a decent change.
It is. And matter of fact, I have an author's comment I put here. When you go over and you're looking for over 1,000 votes, they added a new section for this next cycle in 2026, which is 110.39, which is pretty much word for word exactly what you're reading here.
Nice.
Okay.
So this is like
both ways.
So this is the proposed language for 2026.
2026.
All right.
And then they have one more thing that got added here. Now, what this is where you're going to get into. It's like you're looking at 110.14. This is for over 1,000 votes, and what you're going to see. I'll just give you some examples here, but if you look, this is where you're getting into your temperature limitations for your termination electrical connections, and you're going to see it's going to refer you to the tables 315.60 C1 through C20. Okay, this is where you're getting to these type of MV conductors that are over 1,000 volts. Okay,
right.
Or medium voltage, however you want to say it, and
right.
then it comes in and talks about your terminals and everything that's here and how you go about doing your installations and everything. And then watch this, it even goes over to the next one, and then look at here, you get your temperature limitations here, and then you got all your equipment provisions. Now look at this, even in D here, they come in and they talk about that you still have to consider here that you can use the higher than specified ratings for the terminations. It says shall be permitted to be used for impacity adjustment, correction, or both. So nice. They basically just took 110.14 and required pretty much the exact same type of requirements that we have in 110.40 for anything over 1,000 votes. So those right there are the changes that you will see for Article 110, and next week I'll look at doing Article 200 and getting into 210. So
nice.
Just in 2 weeks, we've already showed you Article 90, Article 100, and Article 110 of some of these are all the changes we're going to cover. And you can already see I've already done probably about close to 20 changes.
Yeah.
Just in the chapter 1, and I'm, that's why I say when we do our everybody, most other publications, you get about 100 changes, maybe if they do top art. We're probably going to have 200. I mean, last cycle we had 238 or something. So
yeah, I was gonna remind you about that because I'm still short a few code changes from 2020. So
you're still hanging up on that.
No, I'm just kidding. No, but it's a lot of fun. Been following you since 2020, and it's been a lot of fun. Following along with all your code changes and stuff, and I think I did get my 22 that you owed me for 2023. So I think I'm good. I think we're square now. I think I let you get hung over the coals enough that I think I'll let it drop it now. But
I only did what the state required me to do.
I know. I just thought, why are you just dissing on Colorado? But no, it was so fun. It's always been fun, following you and having fun, going through all these code changes. And just want to give everyone, kind of a disclaimer that none of these changes are voted on yet, set in stone. It's just like the initial stuff that has come back, and so there's a lot of stuff that still could change. some of the stuff could be basically struck down, and so this is not a set in stone thing. What we're doing, James is just kind of getting a sneak peek. We're actually going to have to change our group name to the 2026 Code Ninjas, just so that we can, kind of get a little bit of ninja activity on the 2026. But it's fun for me. It's the first time I've ever submitted public inputs, and I guess my public inputs are like Clifford the Red Dog wrote them, but they said they're all funny. But I'm like, all right, well, all I did was just say what you said the code already said, and you say that's funny, so
that's right.
I guess it's funny because I think it's funny too. Doesn't say that, but
well, it sure has been awful quiet. What I just posted. Usually they're bam, 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 trying to tag you. Man, it just went dead silent. I figure, well, I said, I guess I was talking to you, and I said, I guess they're conversing with each other, trying to figure out how to attack it. Couldn't figure out a way. What was funny is Jeremy actually posted a screenshot. It shows up in his tab, Jesse Duvet. And I was like, yeah, but you don't talk to them guys, but here's your tab. I was like, you're such a liar.
Yeah, the thing that's so funny about it is they brought up, Justin Gibbs brought up one I thought was pretty interesting, because he's like, how many outlets can be installed on a branch circuit? And it's pretty funny. So big shout out to you, Justin. We got you, bro. We got
troublemaker.
You, yeah, so it's all good. Like I say, I agree. Yeah, there's gonna be some stuff that we're gonna have to address in the 2026, and dude, I can't wait when I go and I have the code making panel say, what do we do if this equipment's not compatible? What do we do? Because their answer is don't install it. But I want to hear it from the code making panel that you can install that equipment. Because there's going to be a long list of equipment that can't be installed on a GFCI protected branch circuit. So
that's right.
It's going to be interesting.
It's like, it's like I've always said, when you go and start requiring stuff, usually the way it worked when I was doing it is usually there was submitted technical documentation that was showing you need it. They just never said, oh, you're going to need it for this, this, and this, and then all of a sudden none of it's compatible. I mean, that makes no sense. And then the people that put in want to turn around and say the manufacturers need to get up off their rear end and make it compatible. No, the manufacturers don't have to do anything. They're meeting the UL testing standard that was created for the equipment to say that it's perfectly fine to install it. If you're going to say that, then we might as well not install any of that equipment. I mean, you just can't do that.
we wouldn't even be having this argument if it was GFPE, because GFPE is perfectly fine for motel rooms, for window shakers, for all this other stuff. That's perfectly fine. But then you're going to tell me this box on the side of your house has to have Class A protection? Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous.
It is.
So,
all right,
we'll get it. But we go to the tool.
What do you got for tool of the week?
It's time for Tool Review of the Week. Sponsored by Electrician's Only Tool Review and Nipex Tradesman.
Alright, so this is one of my favorite tools out there that I just found out about. It's a battery-powered inverter. And what's so nice about this thing is it has all the safety devices that you can see there, which I really like. So we can go and we can test out our lighting fixtures. We can plug them in and just make sure they're working good. This one, I believe, is an aftermarket product that actually works with DeWalt. So you'll have to kind of check it out. Last week I actually covered a true DeWalt or a true Milwaukee inverter that's actually from Milwaukee. That's the most popular one. But I wanted to kind of mix it up and cover DeWalt too. This is actually called a power station. It has all these different safety features that come into it. Temperature, overheating, all kinds of different stuff. So if you like exceed that 150 watts, then it's gonna have a shutdown. You're not gonna have any kind of arc flashes with this thing. So it's a really safe way to kind of test your lighting. You could get it on there. We actually been testing our fixtures on the ground, making sure they work, making sure the dimming works, making sure the switch legs are correct, making sure everything's right. Then when you go hook it to like a higher voltage, you're ensuring that everything's going to work properly, kind of to align with James's 70E thing. So we're trying to make sure that everyone's working in an electrically safe work condition. And what I really like about this is you could get an illuminated plug, and then when you turn your light on, you see that illuminated plug come up, so you know that it's got 110 volt power going to it, and then you're not going to cause any kind of hazard to the electrical worker while you're going through and testing these lights. And then also other stuff where you can power up your laptop, charge your phone, power all kinds of stuff up, and keep up to date with the High Voltage Live podcast. And so that is my tool this week. And like I say, I really appreciate everyone joining every week. It means a lot.
Amen. Good one, Bill.
So,
you did good. I'm proud of you.
All right. Well, you might not be proud of me on this one because I might get you on this one.
Question of the week. Let's see what you got for me. Vertical support. You shall comply with. Oh. Well, let's see. I know they got rid 725 121's not there anymore. 760 27 isn't there. Yeah. 110.7 isn't there. It's only two. I know three of those sections are no longer there or never were there. It's, if I'm not mistaken, I think, I don't think there's just going to sections like that. If I'm not mistaken, I think, I have to really think about this for a second. It's either, and I know what you're wanting. You're wanting 760 or 725, and those are not the sections. I know for sure. And I know 418 isn't. I'm trying to remember. It's either 300.19 or 110.7. God dang. I don't think there was a general. Let's see. I don't think 300.19. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was just a general requirement that they were talking about the vertical support, but vertical support wouldn't be an A. So I'll go with B, 300.19, because that will actually get into the vertical support. So B's my answer.
Man, James, I just want to give you a round of applause because you saw through my little trickery, but it was really funny because I didn't even know that one. When I was looking it up, I was like, wow. I was like, this is a good one. I was like, yeah. Because everyone's like, it's got to be supported within 24 inches, every 24 inches, because CI cable is required to be supported every 24 inches. There's certain cases where it needs to be supported every 18 inches.
Mm-hmm.
But then that vertical support says every 100 foot.
Mm-hmm. That's why I was like, I knew 121's no longer there because they redid and they added the class 4. And changed that whole section. When they did that, that also caused change that took place in the fire alarm circuit. So I knew those two, and I damn sure knew it wasn't 400.19. So I was sitting there looking at it, I was like, oh, wait a minute. 110 is a general requirement, so it wouldn't go, but you do got vertical support that's over in 300.19. That's why I went with that.
Nice.
So, I do process of elimination sometimes.
So the reason that you got it right was because your dad gave you the bullshit answers. I used your dad's bullshit answers in there, so
it's because I'm riding them coattails, baby. Did you know that?
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of riding them coattails, looks like you're gonna have some coattail riding with the Willie Quiz.
I'm ready for this. It's not on hockey again, is it?
No, it's football, NFL.
Oh, well, hell, all right. I hope the others show up faster.
You are now entering the zone of the Willie Quiz. Enter at your own risk.
You're actually really lucky tonight because I haven't seen Daniel, so you never know. Like Daniel just might pop out of nowhere, and maybe he might even pop in like the second question and still win. So you never know.
I'm
but
definitely not going 0 for 3.
Yeah,
I better not.
Yeah.
I'll be upset. I did last week. I don't want to do it again.
yeah. Like some of these I didn't really know, but Brett Favre was drafted in the second round to blank. A, New Orleans Saints. B, Atlanta Falcons. C, Miami Dolphins. D, Tennessee Titans, a.k.a. Houston Oilers. E, Carolina Panthers. Good luck, everyone.
Well, I actually know this one, and I know when he was traded to Green Bay, and actually I think, if I'm not mistaken, the coach at the time for this team was Jerry Glanville, I think. But he said, I remember his first pass he ever threw was an interception, and then he got to play a little bit more. He threw 3 more passes. One of them was the interception. The other 2 were incompletions, and he said he'll never play another down for me again. And that was Atlanta Falcons. I remember that. And the guy that really wanted him was they traded a first round pick, if I'm not mistaken. It was probably like the 15th pick or something like that. I remember them trading, and that was Green Bay traded. I think there was another team involved, if I'm not mistaken, but then he went to Green Bay. So the team that actually drafted him originally in the second round was the Atlanta Falcons. So my answer is B.
All right. I told you I had an easy quiz tonight. So you got the first one correct, and you got every single part of that correct. So congratulations.
Who was the other team?
You have no competition tonight either. So you can't even do the victory lap. Like Daniel would have got New Orleans Saints. I guarantee Daniel would have said A. But
who was the other team that was involved? Wasn't there 3 teams involved in that trade?
I believe so. I want to say Detroit had something to do with it, but I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly, but
yeah, I remember somebody was involved with that. Because I remember I watched a thing. They had a thing on one of the shows or something on Brett Favre, and I remember watching the thing on it, and they were talking about how he was traded and all that, and how I think it was Jerry Glanville, but he said he'd never play another down for him. I just remember that.
I want to say like Minnesota had something to do with it, because I know that there was like a lot of bad blood when he left Green Bay and went to Minnesota. Like, it's funny, my brother was up there and they had this shirt and it was this picture of Brett Favre and it was all, "We will never forget you, Brent."
Okay.
You know, it was pretty funny.
All right. Let's see what your second one is.
All right.
Oh,
So,
I know this one.
Emmitt Smith, running back for the Cowboys, was drafted number blank in the first round in 1990. Is it A 15, B 16, C 17, D 18, or E 19? Good luck, everyone.
All right. I can give history on this one. In 1989, Troy Aikman was drafted number 1 overall by the Cowboys.
Right.
And then the next year, they didn't have a pick. They actually traded up. If I'm not mistaken, they were number 21 in the draft, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And they traded up. There was actually one running back that was taken before him. I don't remember who that guy was. I was trying to remember. But there was one taken earlier in the draft before Emmett. And Emmett played out of Florida. And they moved up 4 spots. And because they were scared, there were like 2 other teams they thought might draft him. So they ended up giving up a little more than they wanted. But They drafted him at 17. So C is my answer.
So you're sure it's 17, huh?
Yep. 17 it is.
All right, James. Well, you are correct. You got 2 in a row, and I told you it was easy. I told you I was setting it up to be easy. 17 is my lucky number, and Emmitt Smith is the only Hall of Famer that's been drafted at number 17.
Yeah.
In history.
I did not know that, but I knew he was drafted at 17. So.
All right. Well, hopefully I get you a little. Make sure you get a 66% on my last question here.
All right.
All right. Which one of these NFL Hall of Famers was not selected in the top 15 of the first round? Was it A, Jim Kelly of the Bills, B, Tony Gonzalez of the Chiefs, Rod Woodson of the Steelers, D, Warren Sapp of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or E, Jerry Rice, wide receiver of the 49ers? Good luck, everyone.
All right. Now, I know, I'm going to think about this for a second. I know Tony Gonzalez, he was drafted. He was a high tight end that was drafted. I remember that. Ron Woodson, I remember he was really good. He was drafted I think he was in the top 15. I know Warren Sapp was. So it leaves me down to 2, Jim Kelly and Jerry Rice. And this is interesting here because I would think quarterback being such a premium position, I would think would be drafted before a wide receiver. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, when Jerry Rice come out, he wasn't really fast, so he wasn't really considered an elite compared to the other receivers, but his route running was incredible.
Right.
So it's one of those 2.
They're right on the borderline, so.
Yeah, it's one of those 2. I know it is. I'm going to put a more premium on the quarterback than I am the wide receiver. So I'm going to go okay, I'll go E, Jerry Rice. I think Jerry Rice wasn't drafted in the top 15.
All right. Well, just to let you know, just like a little insult to injury, Warren Sapp went number 13, and it was either Warren Sapp either went number 12 or number 13. I can't remember which one, but he was the number one pick at. He was the number one Hall of Famer, like the only Hall of Famer that went at like number 12, number 13. But you are correct. It's Jerry Rice. So,
wow.
You got lucky on that one, but Jim Kelly, I think, was like number 8 or something.
Yeah, well, I was there thinking a QB would go higher than wide receiver. What was Gonzalez at? If I was actually going to think of one of them that was probably closest to Jerry Rice, other than Jim Kelly, I would have thought probably tight end.
Yeah, Gonzalez, I think he was like 11 or 10th.
Yeah. And what was Woodson?
He was like 11 or 10th or 9th, somewhere in there.
See, I was thinking of those two. I thought Warren Sapp would have been higher than
But
you were saying.
Every single one of those players was the only person that was in the Hall of Fame at that draft number. So whatever their draft number was, so like Jim Kelly was like number 8. He was like the only person at number 8 in the Hall of Fame. Tony Gonzalez was like number 11. He was the only one at number 11 in the Hall of Fame. You know, so it was pretty funny. I thought about it a little bit to try to give you a little trick, and then Jerry Rice was the only one outside. Well, and then Emmitt Smith was outside of the top 15.
What was Rice? Wasn't he like an 18 or 19, I think?
No, he's 16.
16? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so then,
close.
so then, what was the next one? Was Emmitt Smith, who's number 17. So Emmitt Smith was number 17, Jerry Rice was number 16, and then, you know what I mean, all the rest were inside that top 15.
If you were going to make it easier for me, you would have put Emmitt Smith there instead of Jerry Rice. Then I wouldn't have to think about it.
Yeah, true. Well, I was trying to make it as easy as possible, but I do like a little bit of trickery in there. It's fun.
3 for 3 after 0-3 last week.
Yeah. You redeemed yourself. I might have to put one together for Sunday and maybe do something a little different.
You know why I'm so good on the NFL? Because I watch the draft every year. And ever since I was probably 20 years old, maybe 18, I always got the draft books and stuff. And while the draft's going on, I'm highlighting through the ones that are drafted, you know. It's like one year we were sitting there watching it, Dad, and I already knew who I liked and everything. I said, I can't freaking believe this. Randy Moss. I said, he's fall to the Cowboys. I said, they're getting the best receiver, probably the best athlete in the draft. And then they drafted somebody else, and I was so pissed off because I'm sitting there checking, you know, going through everything, you know. And right then I told Dad, I said, that's the stupidest thing right there. I said, they should have made that pick. And sure enough, he went to Minnesota. He just threaded our ass a couple of times. And Dad even remembers that. But Dad will tell you, when it comes to the draft, James knows because he actually studies that crap. Right. It's like one of my hobbies.
It looks like all my guests were scared and stuff. I should have did hockey, but you didn't want to do hockey, so we'll see. Maybe I could get some guests on to do some more different kind of sports topics, and you know, maybe we'll do something that even the score on you, and you know, like try to do something you don't know as well, like hockey. Stars are playing right now. Stars Oilers is on right now.
Yeah, right after we do this, I'm gonna get off and watch it while I'm finishing some stuff up. So, all right, let's do the wall of shame.
Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame.
All right, so I kind of put this one together a little bit myself, but you know, big shout out to Jason Eastman for posting this, and I was like, when the Sparky gets even with the other trades, and it's just funny just seeing that drill through all those conduits right there. And it's funny because, like, these guys, they can't deny when they go post these. You can't deny these are real pictures. This really happened, you know.
Wow.
So a lot of guys call this the blind drill, the blind hole drill, but you know, it's just to hit everything in one shot. I mean, you got to get an award for that one, you know.
Oh, that is freaking awesome! I love it.
We always see that where the plumber cuts our stuff or whatever, puts their stuff in, you know. So we got you. We got even.
That's good. I like that one.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So really appreciate everyone for following NEC Code page. Really appreciate everyone for checking out Stallcup Electrical Education. That's really awesome that James has been selling his books probably like 3 times, 4 times the level that he's been before, and it means a lot to me that we can bring that kind of value to your awesome product, sir. And you know, like I say, I've been buying up everything I can, Stallcup, and everyone comes ask me questions. I'm like, here it is. It's right in the illustration right here. So it means a lot, and big shout out to everyone out there that is getting ready to go pass their test, because a lot of people are scared to pass their test. They're scared to go take it. They're scared that they're not going to know. But just follow the NEC Code page, follow Stallcup Electrical Education, and you will have no fear, and you will pass the first try. So far we had, I think, 4 people so far that's followed our podcast that's passed first try in Colorado. So that means a lot to me, and that's what my whole goal is. I don't care about making money. I don't care about anything else. I care about people getting educated and having fun learning code. Just had a gentleman today say that he really loves what we've been doing because he says we make learning the code fun, and that's what we're all about. That's what I like, and that's our whole mission. So really appreciate it. Means a lot. Thanks for joining every week, and like I say, if you guys miss our podcast on YouTube or you don't want to watch it on a video form, I have a podcast called NEC Code on Spotify. You can go and I reproduce them to audio and re-record them later and throw a bunch of metal music up there. You didn't even get the other question, did you? Like what Nintendo game I was playing on the podcast, did you?
No, I hadn't. Honestly, I didn't even listen to it. I've been
all right.
I'm trying to get all this done for the publishing company. I mean, I'm working like 14 hours a day or no longer, and I'm just pushing, you know, because they're already getting ready to do a big advertisement out on it and everything, and they're going to be sending out to all the colleges and apprenticeships and everything, and showing them, you know, illustrations and showing them what is now available and what's coming, and I think we're about to start seeing Stallcup publications. I mean, they always did good, but I think they're about to take another leap with all these new illustrations and everything we're doing. So,
all right. So on the next week's Willie Quiz, it's going to be what songs did I use in the NEC Code podcast, and James he's going to have some listening to go listen to try to see if he can guess them, but I don't know. We'll see. I gotta get some easier ones to where you can just go listen to the podcast and then you can just get them. I don't even know if the listeners would actually be able to get them, but it's pretty cool. I might even go record some new ones and then just put in some different ones, and then I can just mix them up and be like, Myth of the Week number 106 will use what song, you know what I mean? And see if you can get on their video game songs, you know, but we'll see. I mean, it's a lot of fun for me to do, and it's pretty cool to, you know, go back to these episodes and just throw them down. And like I say, it's easy for me to do. It takes me a few minutes to just throw it down on the software, if I could throw it in the studio, and then, you know, pop it up into Spotify. And So, like I say, I really appreciate. I got more subscribers on Nat King Code than I do on the Willie Jackerson Experiment, but it means a lot. I do a little bit different stuff on the Willie Jackerson Experiment, and it's so much fun to make them and put them together and throw in metal. So we're always trying to make America metal again.
I like metal, but also like the old classic rock and roll. That's my jam right there. I like pretty much anything from the 80s. And, I like, people say, what's your favorite music? I like country. I like rock. I like metal. I like pop. Yeah. I even like disco. I mean, if it sounds good, it sounds good. I don't care what genre it is.
Yeah, and big shout out to all our veterans out there. Thanks for your service. Really awesome. Celebrate, commemorate all your service to our country, that we could all live in a free country, and really appreciate that. Means a lot. I always do, Memorial Day episode, James Remembers. I did one 3 years ago with Ronald Reagan giving that speech, and I always like Ronald Reagan's speeches from Memorial Day. I try to put them in every episode, and it means a lot how much of an American all these different people were, and it just means a lot that we live in a land of the free because of the brave, and we appreciate all the people's service, and we remember all their sacrifices they took through all this stuff. And this year I'm doing Vietnam. Had a bunch of Vietnam vets reach out to me, and so this year is Vietnam Memorial Day episode. Mm-hmm. So
you only got one more item that you forgot to do tonight.
What's that?
Congratulations, Dallas Stars.
Oh yeah, they won it, huh?
Not talking about to move on.
Oh yeah, no, congratulations, Dallas Stars.
Congratulations. I don't even really like hockey. I did last night. I did catch the Mavericks. They were playing last night, and they won the first one. If they win this series, they're in the finals. And
nice.
I'll tell you what, Mavericks look good. I'm impressed with that team. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
That damn Luka Doncic, man, he's one bad dude. But that other guy they got, I forgot, I think down from Duke, whatever, Derek Lively, the second or something, man, he's freaking pretty good, man. I'm like, damn, that kid can play. They got him. He's like a center, but he plays like a dang forward. I mean,
yeah,
they're always doing alley-oops and stuff. I mean, they're a pretty good team.
I want to say congratulations, Dallas Stars. Here goes my bracket.
Yeah.
My bracket just done. Picked too much abs in my bracket, but you know what I mean. I didn't even pick that. I picked the Stars. I picked the Stars Oilers, but I picked the Oilers to win, and then I actually had one where I picked Stars Canucks, and then I picked one where it was Stars Oilers. Then I actually have the Oilers win the Stanley Cup.
Didn't the Avalanche win it last year?
No, 2022.
2022. I knew they.
It was the Golden Knights last year. We got knocked out in the first round of the Kraken.
Oh, okay. All right.
But it is what it is. I really appreciate being such a good sport, and just the fact that you went 3-0 this week on the Willie Quiz means that next week I gotta pump those numbers up. So I gotta make it a little bit. I gotta make it a little bit easier. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do video game songs on my podcast and see if you can guess them.
Yeah, you have to send me the links again so I know which ones you're doing.
They're in your DMs. You can check them out.
Well, last week I wasn't doing this. I went 0 for 3 last week.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing too. Like I try to make it kind of tailored towards you this week, just to make it easy. And then that's what gets your head all pumped up. Like your just head's like sitting here like this, going around. Then all of a sudden it's like, all right, now it's for real. Now it's going down. So Yeah. Yeah. See, there you go. Your mind blown, you know. And so now you're just thinking you're gonna know them all, but no, I really like how every week you kind of, you kind of deduce them down to those like two. You kind of try to eliminate them, and I always think about that when I put them together. That I know you're gonna kind of try to eliminate the ones that are not right, but I try to make ones that are maybe not right sound more credible, you know, and it's fun. It's fun to get you on them too, because there's times where you get a little froggy on Daniel, but sorry, Daniel, you didn't have a chance tonight. So
Yeah, I whipped up on you, son.
Yeah. Well, like I say, Daniel's 5-time champ against you, so I mean. He's getting ready to, Daniel's going to show up and he's just going to go, see all these rings? These are all the wins I have against you, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? It's going to be, 5-time champ, he's going to have to be sitting there going like this, Hey, James, I can't see you. I got all my victories on here,
If he can keep going, he can put them on his toes, too.
Yeah, So we'll see. We'll keep Daniel on a roll and stuff, but I really appreciate all the participation. It means a lot. Everybody jumping in on the myth of the week, jumping in all our groups, and having a good time cutting it up. And had some great comments this week. People texting me saying they love the show, saying they love what we're doing, making learning code fun, and that's what it's all about, in my opinion.
It is. Just having fun doing it, I've always said, don't try to make it too hard. Try to make it as easy as possible, and if you can do that, you enjoy it much easier.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions for James on the Journeyman Exam Prep series or any of our series or anything that you have that you don't understand the way he explained it, some of them could just be like he accidentally added a 0 on something and, whatever, and sometimes it happens where he doesn't change the picture on my myth of the week or something like that. Just asks that question, and then we'll just go, all right. James sometimes he forgets to change the picture, so we're talking about a different myth. But we always give each other crap all the time, and it's so much fun. And James seems to think that I need to be a faster driver on the highway when I'm coming to the podcast, but it is what it is, sometimes I get stuck in traffic, so, it is what it is. But
let's wrap it up. I want to go watch the game.
Hey, well, I just want to tell everyone, thanks for joining tonight. I really appreciate it, and as always, remember, make every day an easy day.
Amen. Everybody have a good week. Oh, and don't forget, we're going to do a special podcast Sunday. I'll send out links and stuff for Sunday night at 7, and we'll go through and get very detailed, show you a lot of cool stuff. So
nice.
Other than that, everybody enjoy the rest of the weekend. We'll see you Sunday.
Sounds good.